Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. The Dodgers made a trade with the Rays. The Royals are signing everyone, and some other things have happened, especially in San Francisco where they signed the guy. Snuck it in there. Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball, brought to you by SeatGeek. Thank you very much for joining us today. If you like baseball and you enjoy the show, you can hit subscribe. That helps us out. Like the video, leave a comment, all that good stuff. My name is Jimmy. His name is Jake. We got Trev in the middle and producer BBD behind the dish. It's December 18th. The holidays are coming up. Yamamoto is going to sign somewhere soon, maybe, hopefully. We did have some trades and some signings. So, with all the Ohtani episodes come and gone, we got a lot of catching up to do, Jake. A lot of little moves. You like any of these? How are you doing?
James, Trevor, Davis, I'm doing well. It's the holiday season. Starting to rewatch a Game of Thrones, which I'm really, really enjoying with my sweet Jessica. She's never watched. So that'll get me through the off season. Winter is coming. And I'm doing well, and I'm glad to talk some ball because couple Hundy Mill transactions happen that we got to catch up on. And I don't know, Trev's AL Central is cracking me up because I think they think there's some blood in the water, that some of the boys are kind of going for it. So I don't know. That gets a little lead in my pencil. So I'm doing well. Can you ask Trevor how he's doing for me?
Trev, Jake wants to know how you're doing.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate that. I'm doing great, guys. Great to be here. I was explaining that I had my alumni game this weekend, so the body's not great. The body's sore. 3 innings pitched, probably threw around 65 pitches, 4 Ks. Just left it all out in the field. You guys know that's what I like to do. I give it my all against these guys, man. So that was fun, but I am sore. I do want to talk about these deals. The AL Central is not up for grabs. That is the Twins. You know it. I guess we'll talk about that a little later in the show. I'm happy the Royals are doing what they're doing. There's no doubt about that. But
what are they doing?
I think we got to start with our boy Glasnow and this trade with the Dodgers.
This is one of those trades where you kind of saw it coming, and then they rumored it for a little bit, and then it's official. So the Dodgers get right-handed starting pitcher Tyler Glasnow, outfielder Manuel Margot, and cash, not the coach, just money. They get money. And the Rays, in return, get Ryan, how do you say it? Pepio and Johnny DeLuca.
Oh, you didn't need to ask how to say that one, huh?
Nope. I'm not French like Trev. Is Pepio French? Sounds French. Bunch of letters at the end that you just don't say. That's French.
That's a good question. Is Pepio French?
Pepio.
I don't know.
Sounds like Pepio,
okay.
Which just sounds French. That's the trade.
I don't know. Such an interesting deal when you get a trade and it's contingent on an extension being given. Doesn't that just put all the leverage into the guy who, like Tyler Glasnow's bag? Like, okay, like this trade doesn't go down unless I agree to what you give me. Okay, here's what I want. 5 years, 136.5 for Tyler. Obviously very happy for him. He's like one of the most interesting pitchers in all of baseball because when he is healthy, when he is on the mound, like his stuff is out of this world, but he hasn't pitched a lot. I think last year was his career high in innings with 120, and you're paying, I guess, what does it end up being? 27 point something a year for him. So you're banking on health. You're banking on the fact that you think your organization can do a better job of keeping him healthy. And if it does come to fruition and the Dodgers do keep him healthy, I mean, it's a steal. It's a steal even at that price tag because of what he's able to do on the mound. He has all this stuff. Like I said, when he is healthy, I mean, he's kind of one of, he's an elite pitcher in baseball when he's healthy. So they're taking a chance on him in a rotation that really needs kind of more bodies. We talked about that with the Dodgers. They have, Walker Buehler coming back, and usually you're saying that's great. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball, but he's coming off a second TJ. You have some of these young guys that are unproven. You're probably going to get Kershaw back. I'm assuming they're going to get him back. But again, there's a lot of question marks in this rotation. And even though you'd think Glass is kind of like an answer to some of these questions. I think he's kind of like almost like another question mark. I kind of feel bad saying that, but it's the truth, isn't it?
It's a keep him healthy for the postseason. He's already pitched in the postseason. His last 60 starts, which goes back to 2019, he's got a 3.03 ERA, almost more than 100 strikeouts per inning pitch. So, when he's out there, his talent is in an elite league. Like one of my favorite games is always if there was a league above Major League Baseball. If this was quadruple A and there was a 5-tuple A, math. Tyler Glasnow would be in that league. Like the dude's a monster. He's my wedding friend. And I don't know. Dude,
how many teams do you have in that league?
I don't know. I'd probably have it as like a 16-team starter league.
16 teams.
And
That's a lot of players that are at that level. I got less than I got like 2 teams.
Yeah, I had 2 teams.
But we're bringing in the whole universe. So you're getting people from other planets and stuff. I'll lay that out for you guys another time. Glass, I'm stoked he goes to the Dodgers. I mean, like, think about everything we just said about Shohei, Mookie, Freddie. Like, he's a California guy that for the length of his contract, they're going to be competing. Never mind the fact that Dodgers are always competing because they've won the NL West 10 of the past 11 years. So happy for him that he's going to be, going for the World Series every year. And yeah, they're making a bet on his high-end talent. Because he's thrown 120 innings once. That was last year, 120 innings on the nose. And I saw them I've heard some people trying to compare it to the Zach Wheeler signing when it happened, because Wheeler had a couple injuries, but outside of Wheeler's injuries, he threw big inning seasons. So for the Dodgers and Glasnow, let's find out next year, because he has had some funk between I felt like the COVID season was supposed to be his full breakout year, and, he got his full 11 starts in, but that's obviously a different story that, hey, maybe he can start racking up 28 start seasons. If you're the Dodgers, I think they just want that big man healthy for October because he can win you a playoff game himself.
I'm just cheering on the Rays. Shed $33 million that they get to put into no new players. That's awesome.
It's such a Rays move because Pepiot is a good pitcher too. Now you have this guy controllable for the next 5 years, maybe even 6. I don't know if he reached that level last year or not. I believe it's 5 years of team control with him. He's making the league minimum the next 2 years, then through ARB. I mean, this is, when I think about this trade, it's like, I don't know, man. Like, I do love me some Glasnow, but you have this guy who was, I believe, a top 10 prospect. Your 6th prospect comes up, actually, does well in his starts last year, and you have him for control, and you're going to be spending more money, and you're the Dodgers, and you just don't care, I guess. You're willing to bet that, when Glasnow's right, he's a tier above Pepiot or maybe 2 tiers above Pepiot, and not many teams are able to do that, dude. Like, I think a majority of baseball teams in the big leagues would look at this trade and say, nah, I'd rather have the guy cost controlled for the next 5 years. I guess Glasnow is cost controlled now, but at a much lower rate over the next 5 years. But I mean, I actually like this move for the Rays a lot.
It's great both ways. I mean, this is perfect for the Rays. They've got an arm they will use for the next 4 years, 3 years, and then they'll trade him like they trade Glasnow, and the cycle continues. So I think it's funny. The Rays, probably one of the things they measure the most is innings. Like that's when they were becoming the Rays, is that they look at innings. That's why they use that bullpen, and they want to go to that bullpen. And I know they've adjusted a little bit because I do think they found out they were overworking their guys a little bit. But, if let's say Glasnow gives 140 innings this year, which would be 20 more than he's given in his career. Let's say Pepiot, who's got a couple seasons in the minors where he's pitched over 100 innings, if he gives the Rays over 100 innings this year, they'll almost feel like they've got 3 more years to get back what they've been looking for or what they gave up in Glasnow without having to pay him. And who knows if Johnny DeLuca can be something for them. So, yeah, I mean, this was like a perfect trade kind of for both organizations.
The extension's weirding me out. I mean, it's a lot of money for someone who hasn't thrown that many pitches. I mean, you were hanging out with Glasnow and Archer. I mean, feel like they're similar. Like it's high in talent, but not many. Well, Archer actually had maybe more full seasons of like really good under his belt.
Oh yeah.
Like,
but that's the spin, because you could say if Glasnow's body stays healthy, his shoulder, elbow doesn't have the same wear and tear. That, like, you mentioned Arch. Arch pitched 200 innings a year for 5 years, and that's probably what ends up wearing on you as you get older. So that's kind of the.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't think I have him in the other league that you have him in. I mean, obviously love Glasnow, but
really,
no, he hasn't really done it. He's got a career,
just talent wise.
This is old school talking baseball when Jimmy would talk about Tyler Glasnow. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Oh, sure.
There's always a little bit of, you're a skeptic because you got to do it.
Yeah,
you can't
just
flash it here and there. You got to put it together.
To me, he still's never done it. He's never thrown over 25 games in a season and had like a under 3.5 ERA. Like I don't know. I think the contract's insane. I'm very happy for him that he got his money. I don't know who the Dodgers were competing with.
Cubs, Blue Jays.
Yeah, but excited. The Dodgers will make him better. Hopefully they can make him healthier. The Rays are surely, they like hurting pitchers. Sorry for Pepio. That's a bummer. But that's crazy. I mean, the extension is really weird. It's $30 million for 3 years, and then he can, if they don't give him 30 in that last year in 2028, if they don't opt in for 30 mil, he can then hit a button that says, well, you got to give me 20, and then he's still on the team. So he's on the team no matter what, unless he doesn't want to and he thinks he's going to go get more than 20 somewhere else. But I like when there's two different buttons being hit. Team says, no, we don't want to give you 30. He says, well, you're giving me 20.
Yeah, it's an interesting deal. I think it actually ends up being 21 and a half, the player option, because Jeff Passan got that one wrong when he initially reported it. No big deal, Jeff. I'm interested in how the Dodgers are going to use Margot, because we've seen that guy have some huge moments for the Rays. They kind of have a center fielder in James Outman that I believe is probably going to play every single day there. So, whether you line him up in left field or you platoon him, which is kind of what people are saying, that might platoon him with Jason Hayward. Like, that's a funny thing to me. Like, Jason Hayward kind of comes out of nowhere, has a nice season, and now all of a sudden you got Margot and Jason Hayward out there. It's going to be interesting to see how they deploy it, because they have some options. The Dodgers have a lot of things they need to still do. Like, they need to shore up everything. They keep saying Mookie's their second baseman. Mookie's the second baseman. Okay. Well, then you got to go get some outfielders and fill that space up. I'm not sure they're done on the pitching front. Like, there's things they have to do.
They also need a 6-man rotation with Ohtani now pitching not next year, but the year after that. So I guess this helps them lock up another pitcher for longer, because they need more than they're used to needing.
Yeah, that'll be a 2025 problem for them. They'll still need innings this year, and I think the way to look at it, I think Passan was talking about it, like, for the reason why this is such a good move for the Dodgers is because they're openly one of the biggest market teams. They're in very much a window that they're going to be doing that. That the risk reward of Glasnow is, he's not promising you innings. He promises you high level of performance, that if you can keep him out there for the playoffs, they still need innings for this upcoming season. And that's where I've always leaned towards Corbin Burns. But we'll see. I mean, Walker Buehler's coming off injury. Bobby Miller's still young. And then, back into their rotation right now is Yarborough and Sheehan. So, I don't know. They're supposedly in the Yamamoto race. Burns makes a ton of sense to me. And if they could tag on Willy Adames, I've been pushing that narrative, and probably another free agent or two. So, and they always have young arms coming up that do, achieve at a certain level, whether that's, maybe Gavin Stone makes the jump, or Sheehan, or whoever it is. And yeah, Margot, is a perfect bench lefty platoon guy for them. His career's always been better against lefties. And that can be Hayward insurance. That can be Outman insurance, because he can play everywhere. And, they might have some Dodgery stuff that they see with him that they can tap into a little more. So,
does this make him in the top 5 paid starting pitchers in MLB on AAV?
Glasnow?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, he's making $30 million a year.
I know we got
His AAV hits
Cole,
like 27.
Scherzer, Verlander already.
Ohtani, Cole,
Off the top of my head.
Strasburg, but he's gone. DeGrom. That's all I
There's got
have.
to be. That's kind of nuts to me. That there's only
Scherzer.
4 or 5.
Spotrac has Ohtani, Scherzer, Verlander, DeGrom, Cole, Corbin, Strasburg, Rodon, Sale.
Is that Patrick?
Well,
Corbin?
Rodon's 27.
Right, 27-8.
Yeah, I think
I think Glasnow's AAV is 27.5, so around there.
Yeah.
this year, but next year he'll be at 30.
Well, his AAV stays the same number. In real dollars, he'll make 30. Like in
This
real
year's-
dollars,
This
Ohtani
next year's
makes
25, I believe. It's the last year of his
2024 is
deal with the
2020.
Rays.
2025 is 30.
Yeah.
So top 10?
Right around it.
He's got the stuff.
Guys will jump that.
I think that's the thing that we're all dancing around. Yes, he's got the stuff to be that type of pitcher, but he hasn't done it long enough where you typically would give a pitcher that kind of money.
Yeah.
Do you think the Dodgers will be in the playoffs?
Yes, I do.
They just need him healthy for that.
What are they going to do, Jake? They're going to bubble wrap him in August and September and say, just sit here. Just sit
Control
here
his
now.
innings.
They should do that with Ohtani. That's what I don't know if I said that on air or off air. Should just let Ohtani play every day as a hitter for the first half of the season and then just have him pitch the second half and be there for the postseason and keep him fresh for his 10 years. Who the fuck cares? You're the Dodgers. You're going to be in first place.
They're gonna do something like that. They're gonna do. They have to have some sort of huge plan, but like they need to maximize all these signings, and maybe they'll take some advanced approach like that. Like it doesn't have to be like, hey, you're not gonna pitch until X.
Yeah, or
but
maybe instead of a 6-man rotation, have him literally like go every other week with the dude. But I don't know. You should definitely cushion Ohtani's start to the season as a pitcher. He's got two Tommy Johns, and how long is it going to last? Like if you can get him to make 10 to 15 starts the second half of the year and then be there for the playoffs, pretty fresh. This is awesome. While he hits the first half,
Do kind of what the Yanks just did with King and stretch him out that last 2 months.
yeah,
2000,
Be a good team.
2006 Roger Clemens,
yeah.
Just get it.
Oh,
get
on
it
the plane?
Just get it
meeting
started.
the team on the.
His first start was June 22nd. Boom.
Yeah, hated spring training.
Get a couple starts in before the All-Star break and then fire it up.
Yeah,
Isn't he only pitched at home, right? He didn't pitch on the road. Is that true? Right?
it was
certain
some
road
there was
trips.
some bullshit like that.
only
yeah.
only the good cities. He's like,
Yeah.
actually, I like this one.
Yeah.
All of the fun ones.
It's crazy.
Oh man.
No, it's not crazy. DraftKings Sportsbook.
Mm.
Well, maybe this deal is because if you want to get in, this is for me. The NBA season starts Christmas, and new customers can score 150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5. An instant dub just for you. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code TALKIN. New customers can get 150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on basketball only on the DraftKings Sportsbook with code TALKIN. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 87. Oh my God, they changed all the numbers to words in the read.
You got
So
it.
every number is listed as a word now. Call 8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY, which is 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus, ages vary by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/basketball for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
Good job, Jake.
Way to go. Way to battle.
Seeing 4 sevens on a piece of paper
7777.
written out.
Usually you
Don't
see
know
that
if I've ever seen that.
on the top of a taxi.
Don't know if I've ever seen that.
7777777. Lee goes to the Giants. Jung-Hoo Lee, 6-year deal. More than people guessed he was going to get. And there's even like way more money involved than the money he gets. Or like, the AAV money, which is kind of interesting. It's another interesting contract, which I enjoy. It's a $5 million signing bonus. Way to go. You sign this piece of paper. Here you go. And then in 2024, $7 million. 2025, $16 million. 2026, $22 mil. 2027, $22 mil. And then 2028, 20.5. And then 2029, I believe 20.5 as well.
So he can opt out of the last 2 years, 41.
Yes. If he doesn't opt out, yeah, it's 20.5. Yeah. So what's that? So that's 22 plus 22 is 44 plus 16 is 67. And then the signing bonus gets you to 72 guaranteed.
It's all guaranteed to him. It's his opt out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like 13.
22, 22, 16, 7, and 5. A lot of money.
a lot of numbers. That's a lot of numbers.
They also had to pay 18 mil to the Kiwoom Heroes.
Posting fee.
Yeah.
I want to love this. I do. I want to love this. I want him to come over and absolutely rake. He was hilarious at his press conference, like seems like an energetic, like joyful dude that will do well in a clubhouse. That's like my first initial reaction was like, this guy's going to be fun. And then you start to like look at, what does he do on the baseball field? How can he help the Giants? Is it going to translate, over to Major League Baseball? Because we've seen a lot of Korean hitters come over and, there's been a few that have had success. Jolly just put out a video about Shin-Soo Choo, who was awesome to watch, one of a pure hitter. But there's also, many other guys that have come over. I played with one of them, Jung-Hoo Park, who was a masher over there. He came over and it just didn't work. He ended up going back and mashed again. But this is a different type of hitter than Byung-Ho. Lee's a contact-oriented guy, gets on base at a super high clip. The plate discipline is there. One thing that caught my eye when I was reading up on it was the 60% ground ball rate. Like, that is nuts. Like, that's not what teams are typically looking for, not what teams are typically giving to guys, giving a massive contract to. It has him right now. Is that on our sheet or is that on the... Yeah. Lee had a ground ball rate of around 60%, which would be higher than any MLB regular in 2023, except for Tim Anderson.
Nice.
That's interesting,
BABIP
right?
King.
Like, that's not what we're trying to do in the big leagues at this moment. That's not what they're teaching guys to do. They want slug. They want you to put the ball in the air, and he's not doing it. I'm curious, are they going to try to change him? Because not only are you coming over and you're facing a whole new league, you don't know any of these fucking pitchers, which is very difficult. But then if they're going to try to change your approach, I'm curious to see how they're going to work with this guy because, that's just not the way the game is necessarily played right now. And maybe we're getting back to it. Maybe this is, we're getting back as we saw last year, get on base, steal some bags, all that. Like, we don't need slug because the stolen bases are up. Maybe that's what they're thinking. But that's the one number that caught my eye for sure.
Man, it's the Giants get their guy. Like we've talked a lot about Giants targeting free agents, and this is the $100 million guy, 132 if it's all in with posting fee, and he stays with his options. You got to be honest, it's a little nervous. Like, hey, I love a presser, and I hope that contact baseball is back, and he's won some center field Gold Gloves over there that. Hopefully he can play all three outfield positions because, San Francisco, it's a big outfield. So, hey, if you brought in the guy that can play all the outfield positions, be a good lefty contact bat, and mix it up, and like, hey, Ha-Sung Kim came over, and I think Lee profiles as a better hitter than him, and Ha-Sung Kim had a pretty solid season hitting. Defensively, he's an absolute wizard everywhere in the infield. I don't know. For me, it's just a scary signing because what is he going to become your leadoff hitter for the next 4 or 5 years and set the tone at the top of the lineup and, hit 300? And if you're not going to provide a lot of pop, which we're not sure about, he doesn't have a lot of pop hitting seasons over there. And San Francisco, that's a stadium they got a big right field wall over there. You need to be like a 280, 300 type hitter if that's going to be your skill set, and that's just hard at the MLB level. So obviously a guy to root for, but for a lot of the big names we've talked about potentially going to the San Francisco Giants, they're making a big bet on Lee. And like you're saying, as baseball fans, you should root for this, and let's start more of a Korean pipeline and do this, but hey, you got to be a little nervous as a Giants fan.
Yeah, it's the biggest investment they've made, like of recent. You know, they've been trying to spend money like crazy, but I think it's the biggest investment of
like on this squad. Yeah.
What's the GM's name?
Farhan Zaidi.
Yeah, Farhan Zaidi. I think it's his biggest signing. Kind of nuts. I don't know. Shin-Soo Choo never played in the KBO. He came over as a high schooler and faced American
went through our minor league
pitching. Went through our minor league pitching. Kim's the best batter to come over from the KBO. It took him a little bit. His defense allowed him to get that time, and he's just above average offensively. 105 OPS, 107 OPS the last 2 years, which is good. He's like awesome. Everyone likes him, and he's really good. But it's tough. It's like a crazy. I think people were shocked by the number here.
And Ha-Seong Kim was 4 years, $28 million.
Yeah, and there's videos and like data about when Leah faces pitches 93 miles per hour or over, and it's really ugly to watch. Have you seen it, Trev?
That's the one thing like that. Even okay,
I'd love to get your
Park
take
said that.
on his swing because there's a video. Maybe I'll try to send you a link. It's real long.
It's long. I've seen it. That's the thing. It's if you're playing the KBO and then you come over to Major League Baseball, the thing I've heard from guys that come over from the Korean League and from Japan is that, dude, it's just like everyone's just a little bit bigger and a little bit stronger over here. And the velocity is higher and guys can hit for power. Like Jung-Hoo Park, that was one of the first things he said to me was like, man, everybody's hitting for power. Like in BP, everyone's hitting home runs. Like he couldn't believe it. So there is a little bit of an adjustment period. I mean, and not to say that he's not going to be able to make the adjustments. And I think if you zoom out and you talk about this contract, I know that the end number is still pretty big. But if you say, okay, we're going to get a premium defensive outfielder, which the Giants needed big time, especially in center field last year. We're going to get hopefully a premium center fielder defensively. And then on base skills, usually that will translate. Like, he's not going to have a 400 OBP, I don't think, in his first season in Major League Baseball. But if he's up there 370 and you're playing a premium defensive outfield and you can steal some bags, then I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Not everyone that gets paid has to hit home runs and hit for power all the time, especially now with the way stolen bases have gone. So if he can come over and steal some bags, play an elite center field, then I'm like, okay, I'm on board for this deal because what kind of weapon it is to have a guy that can go run the ball down out in center field and can get on base. Like that's a premium type weapon that deserves a premium type contract. Is basically what he got. So I think the Giants are banking on that. Like they're really looking for him to come over and have, there's a floor and there's a ceiling. They're looking for him obviously to be more towards that ceiling. And I think they're basing it on that. Like, let's get some defensive prowess out there. Let's get some on base stuff. And then we'll see what happens. I mean, they needed this for sure in that outfield.
Would you rather have Jung-Hoo Lee for 6 years, 132, or Tyler Glasnow for 5 years, 136?
That's a great question. Fuck.
Glasnow.
Well, it depends what team am I on? Because that makes a difference.
I don't. This is what I don't get about players coming out of the KBO. How bad is the Giants farm system? Like, KBO is equivalent to AAA. You got a guy raking at AAA because you have him for $500,000 for the next 3 years. You're going to go pay this dude that much money? They're similar leagues. The only difference is in those leagues, they're professionals trying to win every day, not like trying to hone the craft. So like they're really like getting after it and playing for like contracts in their life. So they're like, the mindset, everyone talks about the mindset being way different. Like, but the skill set's the same. That's what always kind of weirds me out about this is like, you don't got a guy in your system that's crushing it, or you can't trade for that because it's a lot of money. I hope he pans out, but it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't want people to take this the wrong way. But, when you're playing in the KBO, I believe there's 3 or 4 foreigners allowed on a team. And then everyone else is Korean. And, there's a certain type of ball that each country plays. I mean, Americans play ball different than Dominicans and Venezuelans, and you see guys come over from Japan and Korea, and they play ball different. Things, a lot of Asian pitchers come over and they throw splitters, and that doesn't happen in America a lot, right? So like, there's just differences in culture and how you play the game and your style and all that stuff. I don't really know where I was going with this, but when you come over and all of a sudden you're just seeing kind of like a different type of baseball, there is going to be an adjustment period. It just bottom line. And hopefully he's able to make that adjustment quickly. And because I want to root for this guy. His press conference was great. The Giants do need some character, some fun out there. Logan Webb is pissed at everyone talking about the city of San Francisco. He's mad at Rowdy Tellez. He's mad at me for saying it. I didn't say it, bro. Buster Posey said it. Buster Posey said people are asking about the city of San Francisco, whether that's warranted or not. And a lot of people who live there say it's not that bad. It's overblown by the media. The Giants need this.
I mean, all right, Giants fans. Looks like he's ranked in your system, and he got a cup of coffee in the league last year, Wade Meckler. His
ball guy.
His numbers in AAA, AA last year are fucking insane. It's like 1 dot and then 9.66. Now in 20 games in MLB level, he struggled, but you could be looking at the same exact thing. So I don't know.
Hope the scouts got it right.
3 outfield spots.
Yeah, and I think I guess the thing that makes me to be skeptical about it. Let's say they got it right. Let's say this dude comes over and he's the dude. He's got a great contact bat. He's hitting 315. He's got like a 780 OPS. He's playing solid defense. Like, that doesn't change my Giants outlook at all. So I guess that's where I get a little nervous. But like a lot of teams, it's going to be, how do their young guys, how does Luis Matos, how does Luciano, Wade Meckler, those guys are going to dictate the Giants' future more. But, to see $100 million go out, you'd kind of like to say, like, wow, this guy might make the All-Star team. Like, this changes our whole lineup dynamic. Hopefully we're saying that in a couple months. And, like, good job, Giants, but it's a little nervous.
They had him penciled in. They have him penciled in the leadoff. The first lineups that came out, they was penciling like 7. I was like, what? What?
You better believe.
God, I would love to see him bat leadoff. Like, the first at bat of the season goes to him. Like that. I love that, man. I'm rooting for this guy big time. I really am.
Send one into the drink. The off season is about BetterHelp, and this show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Whether or not your family gives gifts during the holidays, you get to define how you give to yourself, and the holidays are a great time to do that. So whether it's by starting therapy, going easy on yourself during the tough moments, or treating yourself to a day of complete rest, remember to give yourself some love this holiday season. And hey, if you think therapy might be the move for you, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Fill out a brief questionnaire, you get matched with a licensed therapist, and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. So, in this season of giving, give yourself what you need with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/talkinbaseball. There you go. Today, you'll get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/talkinbaseball. There's a link in the description. Give it a look if it's something you're looking for.
The Royals know what they're looking for, Jake. They're looking for 1-year deals with a player option for the second. They've given out a bunch of those now. And I'm interested to know what you know about this, because what's going on? Wacha, $16 million, player option for $16 million in 2025.
Yeah.
Hunter Renfroe, $5.5 million, player option, $7.5 million next year. Chris Stratton, 3.5, then 4.5. Who got? So Seth Lugo got 2 years.
We got guys in Kansas City, baby.
A lot of people coming over.
Waka Flocka Flame after his 24 starts, a 3.22 ERA. Seth Lugo, 3.57, 26 starts. Will Smith, Nick Anderson, Chris Stratton in their bullpen, and Hunter Renfroe going to the lineup. So like we say with a lot of Royal stuff, I don't know what it's going to mean. Could a lot of these guys be trade pieces at midseason? Yes. If the Royals get a little bit of that baseball juice and Bobby Witt Jr. continues to ascend to the stardom that he's heading for, Vinny Pasquantino, our guy, will be back next year.
Congratulations.
And I think congratulations, just got married over the weekend, just texted him, heading off to his honeymoon. Go get it, Vinny.
Nice,
Chatted with
congrats.
him in Nashville.
Whoops. I think, we all think, Django, for me, the AL Central, and we can start with the Royals, but we're going to zoom out to the Tigers a little bit. Trev, they're smelling some blood in the water.
No, they're not.
I don't know what your Twins are up to. They haven't really made their move this offseason yet. And I still don't think any of these teams are really near the Twins' class. But seeing these teams make these moves makes me think they think the Central's going to be open this year. Or we're just going to look back and be like, what was that?
I think they just need bodies. They had no one on their roster. I mean, think about it. They just added 6 guys, and that's all their. I mean, it was Salvi Perez was the only one with a contract. Jake Prince.
There's a good article on Fangraphs right now. Ben Clemens wrote it. Don't know Ben, but it was an insightful article about the Royals in their offseason. And the main takeaway, and there's a big quote from their GM, JJ Piccolo. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Basically saying they need veterans. A lot of young guys. We need veterans around these guys to basically coach them up to, get them to where they need to be. So yeah, you're getting bodies, you're getting guys to eat innings, you're doing all these things, but you need to surround your young core. They have some guys that we mentioned a few of them already, but they need some veteran leadership on the team, and that's what they went out and got. I mean, the quote is very clear. We didn't have a fallback as far as having more veteran players around our young guys, so it fell on all of our young guys, and that made it difficult for them. So you go out and you get a guy like Wacha, who's been around the block, different teams, he's learned from a lot of different people. He'll be able to come in and help the rotation. Same thing with Seth Lugo. Will Smith has just won 3 freaking World Series in a row. He comes back to the organization that he started with. Hit a homer against Will Smith when he was a starter with the Royals. No big deal. But,
wow.
So you're getting these veteran guys around your players. I don't think they believe that they can really compete for the AL Central. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if we're into June and they're there. The AL Central is not, I mean, as we stand right now, the Twins are the best team, and then everyone behind them is just kind of behind them. The White Sox are, who knows what's going on over there. I think the Tigers, they can be okay. Like they went on a decent run there at the end of the year, so you can count the Tigers into maybe be competing. The Guardians are probably going to ship some more people out, but they'll probably be in the hunt too. And then the Royals can kind of be in that pack. But I think all these signings are, yes, about veterans around the young guys. And then if they do, get off to a fast start, there's some trade pieces there. I think this is a deal that makes sense for the Royals, who probably say we're not in our window just yet, but we're getting there.
Yeah, I think it's basically, bridging the gap while teaching the kids. You're getting a bunch of player coaches. You're paying them because they can get traded and go be part of something. So they're going to get everyday reps with the Royals here. So it's a nice place to sign if no one else is really offering you that. And if you play really well and you want to lock into the player option, you get that. So the Royals are clearly, I think that's kind of what they're selling these guys is, hey, come here, get everyday reps, build a culture, help us with our kids. If you crush it, you can tap into this. If you think you can get more, you can go get more elsewhere. But I don't think they're hunting down the Twins with these signings. I think they're going to have a fun month. Like there's going to be one fun month where you're like, whoa, could this be? And then ultimately, I don't think.
I think a couple of years down the road, Kansas City is going to be a destination where free agents are really going to be looking to sign. It's a great place. I mean, it's a chill city. You're not going to be, bothered too much. You're going to be able to focus on ball. It's fun enough. The ballpark is great. The travel is great because you're in the Central. And if they do this young core, if they start to, continue to grow and, there does become a window for, winning the Central, I think guys are going to want to go there. It's actually shocking. I know they have to offer the money to these free agents to go there, and that's part of it. But it's shocking to me that it hasn't been kind of more of a destination. It really is a great place to play, and the fans are awesome. When they put together any sort of product on that field, the fans show up in droves. It's a good place to play.
Seth Lugo's $45 million, the fourth largest deal in Royals franchise history. Alex Gordon, Ian Kennedy, and Jimmy's Gilmesh.
Gilmesh.
He had
I
the
saw that
stuff.
too.
People liked him.
Gil Mesh.
Gilmesh.
Do you remember the guy? He was with the Rangers. This is off subject, but he changed his shoe size. He just was wearing the wrong size shoes, and all of a sudden he started raking.
Oh.
God, I got to remember that name. Beavers, can you
Like
find that
that.
out for me?
Mensch.
Kevin Mensch.
Kevin Mensch?
Well, he's the big hat guy.
It's got to be the shoes for Kevin Mensch. Since finally getting the right size shoes last week, Mensch is on a torrid streak.
Shoe size.
Texas Rangers record with home runs in 6 straight games, including 2 grand slams and 20 RBI in a week. I'm thinking about changing shoes too, teammate Gerald Laird said.
Our world used to be so pure.
That
man,
just
isn't it?
describes Mensch's personality, to not even know what size shoe you wear. You know, I was wearing the wrong size shoes until I was like late 20s.
Why?
Because my foot's so fat that I was just told that like as a 13 or 14-year-old what size I was. But really, that was to accommodate for the width, not the length. So I could actually, if I got like wide, I could fit into smaller. So when I went to get fitted for a suit, she was like, "You're not an 11." I was like, well, "What are you talking about? I'm 26 years old. I know what size shoe I am." She was like, "You're 10.
10 wide.
10 wide." I was like, "All right.
10 wide.
Fuck yourself. Give me the 11. Not changing who I am for you." So I'm Kevin Mensch.
You are Kevin Mensch. Okay. I'm glad we figured that out because that was on my mind.
Wonder what his deal was.
I think he was the guy. He was the biggest head in baseball for a while.
Oh,
Yeah,
him
I
and
think
Bruce
yeah.
Bochy.
He was an 8.
Yeah. He was an 8 1/4.
Big head,
Okay.
big feet, big homer number.
That's an
for
interesting
Texas.
topic. Who's got the biggest head? Carlos Silva comes to mind for me. That looked like a big head on him.
Okay.
Bochy might still be the king.
All right. Go Royals, go. Where do you want to move
He
to
was
now?
wearing
Flaherty?
shoes that were
not
too
bad,
small, and it caused a sprain in his toe since he was 15. I mean, that's
Boy math.
that's some mensch head shit.
I love that.
That's nuts. The Rangers, the Tigers. You want to stay with the Tigers? Flaherty going to the Tigers?
Trev.
I talked to him throughout the offseason. He had multiple offers. I think the Tigers were strongest on him the entire time, according to kind of like what he told me. And my advice to him was go somewhere where you think you have a good pitching coach. It's a good ballpark to pitch in because it's essentially another platform year for you. If you're not going to get a long-term deal, you're not going to get your 5 years right now, and he wasn't based coming off of the seasons he's had. So go get another platform year. And I think I know Detroit's a good place to pitch. That's a big ballpark there. So he's working hard. He's not in LA anymore. He moved somewhere else. I'm not going to disclose, I guess, where he went, but he's focused, and I'm excited for him. I think I told him, I said $14 million plus some bonuses. That's pretty good, dude. I said the dinner's on you for the rest of your career. You've made more money than me now, and it's finally you can start buying me dinner. It's great. It's a great contract for me. I'll say that. And I got the scoop on passing, and I was texting our group chat, and he's like, "Hey, you can put the news out if you want." And I was saying, should our Talking Baseball account put it out? But nobody responded, and I knew if I didn't get it out there, that Passon would scoop it up, and I ended up getting it out there, like 2 minutes before he put it out.
So he lives in
And
Ann Arbor now?
He lives in Ann Arbor, yeah. No, he doesn't.
Okay.
Hey, here's what the Tigers are telling themselves. We finished second place in the Mighty Central last year. We added Mark Canha. We've added Kenta Maeda. We've added Jack Flaherty, Chafin in the bullpen. They're saying Riley Green and Torkelson are going to get another year older. Tiger fans are going to believe in stuff. I don't know what that stuff is. Like if you're a Royals
Some nice
fan,
trades.
That's the ceiling.
you're a Royals fan, it's pretty tough to make the leap from 56 wins last year with a couple of those ads to get to where you want to be. Tiger fans are believing they're going to be chasing at least whatever the Twins are this year or one of those last wild card spots, which teams are going to look at what the Diamondbacks did this year and say, hey, if we can somehow get in the dance and find a little magic, we'll figure it out. So I'm happy Tiger fans are going to have a little hope heading into the season. Again, it's very much going to be I think we look back in July and say, what did it mean? Does a punchy Tigers team fight for a wild card, or is it kind of the same sadness it's been the past couple years?
Torkelson keep taking some steps.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they lost their 2 good starting pitchers, and they were second place is a generous thing to say. They were
Sure is.
8 games back and
Accurate.
like way under 500. So I think they're more, hey, let's have some good seasons, trade these guys, keep getting better prospects.
It's interesting. So say they are in, contention and they're in the wild, they're, a game out of the wild card, maybe even a game up in the wild card come the trade deadline. I'm always fascinated with these teams who probably didn't really think that they'd be there, but maybe some guys, had great seasons. And now all of a sudden you're looking, what do? We have Flaherty here. He's having a good year. Do we just keep it? And now we have to add at the deadline to see if we can just sneak in there, or can you maximize on that contract and go get some prospects or whatever it is? I think the Tigers might be in that position, and I'm always curious when those teams get there. Like, the Angels had, the ultimate decision this year, whether to go for it or not go for it, and they ended up going for it. I love – it's almost like you're putting a front office's feet to the fire and saying, hey, what are you going to do? You didn't really expect to be here. Are you going to give your fan base what they deserve, go out and add players, or are you going to – stick to your guns and your plan for the season and go trade a guy who's got a 3.5 and, fall out of contention the last 2 months? I think that's the Tigers' best case scenario, and I hope they get there. And I want to see what kind of decision they'll make. It'll be fun.
It's tough if they don't have Flaherty or Maeda, or he's got a year, so maybe Maeda helps more, or Canna having like an amazing year. Like you have multiple teams offering to get you some good prospects. If they have Flaherty got traded last year for the Rangers. I don't think the haul that they got back, because they traded so much, would be enough for the Tigers if they're in it and able to, still climb. The Cardinals were way out of it, so they traded everybody. But he'd have to be you got 4 teams chasing down Flaherty, and you're going to get a good prospect package, which I think is the best case scenario for the Tigers next year, is that some of these guys are coveted come the deadline and they can get a return. Maximizing the contract, like you said,
84
Trev.
games, 84 wins. Got the Diamondbacks into the playoffs last year, and then they went on a run. It's wild.
That's what a lot of these teams are going to tell themselves, especially in the
I
Central.
know.
What are the White Sox up to? I know that's not this episode, but you said that, and I thought to myself, what are they up to?
I think they're the worst team in the Central.
Everyone's
Are they gonna
available.
trade Cease? They did get Drew Butera on their coaching staff.
Okay.
So that makes a difference.
Okay, that
Culture.
changes things.
Did Kai Correa go there too?
No, he's Cleveland.
Went to Cleveland. Okay.
Yeah, he can vote.
Wow.
Nice. That's
Guy
a nice
guys.
combo. You think he's going to start
Talk about vibes.
looking like Vogt now? Is he like a chameleon type coach where just whatever the
God.
manager looks like, he tries to get in there?
Yeah. I mean, he owes it to us.
He does, though, too.
Puts on a couple lbs over the holidays.
I mean, he's just so happy he doesn't have to keep up with Gabe working out and protein shakes. He didn't like that shit.
That was hard.
He didn't like that at all. The fake glasses, none of that was him.
He's telling his family, I can eat at Christmas dinner this year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have bread.
Molly goes to the Rangers, and Scherzer's out till midseason. Those are updates. And Yamamoto is requesting second meetings with every team.
Dude, he's going to get $300 million?
He's tiny. That's what an inside source, someone who's been on the show before, someone who pitched in the, I don't know, KBO or Nippon? Tim Melville.
Tim Melville?
Nippon.
Yeah, I think so.
Melville. Medville.
He's 5'10".
Yeah, he's Pedro sized, 5'10", like 170.
I love his wind up too. It's like he does slow and just starts to fall, and then all of a sudden his body catches up.
Yeah, I
Awesome.
actually do like that a lot too. Do you see the javelin? That's what Tim told me. He was like, he throws a javelin in the outfield when he warms up.
God, that's like awesome.
I Googled his name in English and javelin in English. Nothing came up, so I had to go to Google Translate, translated all Japanese. Great videos of him throwing this little toy javelin. It's like a toy. It's like a Nerf missile.
Okay.
Not a javelin. I'll share links.
As we babble,
You better bring the javelin.
as we babble through this last part of the episode with the couple World Series teams making moves and the Yamamoto signing to the Yankees, it took the Mayflower 9.5 weeks to cross the Atlantic. Trev, you remember that? Just over a couple of months to get to a whole new world. And with Babbel, you can get there in less time because you can start speaking a new language in 3 weeks. Why Babbel? Boom. Because it works, people. Instead of paying hundreds of dollars to a private tutor, Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons are designed by over 150 language experts to help you start speaking a new language in as little as 3 weeks. It's designed by real people for real conversations. Maybe you got a road trip for the holidays coming up, throw on a little Babbel, learn something, take care of yourself. And how about a deal? We love a deal. Here's a special limited time deal for our listeners to get you started right now. Get 55% off your Babbel subscription, but only for our listeners at Babbel.com/Talkin. 55% off at Babbel.com/Talkin. Babbel.com/Talkin. There's a link in the description. Just learn a language. Why not?
Why not? Then it'd be easier for me to find the javelin videos. I texted it to you guys. It's like a giant Nerf missile.
That's that.
I'm getting one for Teddy. Love that.
Nice.
I made him a towel. You guys know the towel drill? You just grab a towel and you do the whipping motion.
That's how Jake warms up for blitzball.
Yeah. Well,
Jimmy hips me with the towel.
Okay. I like the javelin. Do you want to talk about Lourdes Gurriel Jr.?
Goes back to my snakes. I'll handle this one. I thought it was funny. I think there was a little those corner outfielders. There's Lourdes Gurriel Jr., Teoscar, a couple other guys. And I thought it was funny. Teoscar and the Diamondbacks became kind of a good fit for each other, right? We got hair in the stands. We're having a good time. He gave like his end of season thank you note as like, what a run, and I'm on to my next thing. I think it was a little, fake social media negotiations because I think D-backs were one of the best options for him to go back to. And they keep it together, man. So he had one of his better years versus lefties. And actually some of his numbers, despite having a solid season, he had an accumulator season instead of some of his other, it was his career low batting average, which 261, kind of impressive. But it was his most games played. It was his most home runs. And I think if you're the Diamondbacks, you got a nice righty piece that's always going to be a threat in the middle of the lineup. If you need him to play corner outfield, you can. Or with some of the talented defensive people they have, he could become kind of your a go-to DH option if you need to, and have some weird, crazy hair nights at the stadium and all that. So D-backs said they were going to, keep their wallets going this offseason, and now they've got a ton of their core back. They made the Erod move. Snakes fans are feeling pretty good.
He was great in left field. On our notes here, he was second to Stephen Kwan in defensive run saves last year with 14. That's very impressive. So I'm going to ask you, Snakes legend, Jake, is he starting? He is, right?
Oh yeah.
Like in a platoon fashion, or he's going to be the everyday lefty? He has to be, right?
Well, they have a lot of talented outfielders like Corbin Carroll and
Thomas
and Alec Thomas are going to be out there starting every day. So I think depending the matchup, they got McCarthy, Dom Fletcher came over for them last year. So I think if they need him to play the outfield, good. If you got a guy that needs to slot in to the DH for a period of time, also good. So, and that Snakes lineup, man. Carroll, Marte, Moreno, Walker, Suarez, Thomas, Gurriel Jr., Perdomo, the crew's back.
They got. I've said this on this show before. they have like no question marks on their team, which is you just can't say that for really any other rosters right now. I'm guessing I probably could find a few teams, but very few teams have no question marks.
Braves.
And I don't think that Braves don't have any question marks. Arizona doesn't.
They feel good with this group to start the year.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Phillies.
Phillies don't hate themselves. Phillies like themselves.
Yeah, we're talking elite
Big
teams,
boys.
I guess.
The National
Dodgers.
League.
Tuck it
yeah.
on the pot with Sabrina Carpenter.
National League, Sabrina Carpenter. National League is the only league that's really done free agent stuff. I don't know if you saw Passan's tweet the other day, but it's all NL teams that have paid money in free agency and made moves.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yankees have paid money in trades.
Trades.
Cease to the Orioles was rumored recently.
That makes a lot of sense.
It does. I didn't know if they were going to do it. They said it was between Orioles and
I think Reds are supposed to be big on him.
I saw one that was like Orioles and something, I forget.
The teams that want
miss Yamamoto might pivot.
Teams that want 2 years of a guy and won't pay for real free agents. Dylan Cease is their dream.
Cease should ask for one of them Glasnow extensions.
Hey, give me that. He's asking
Yeah.
for more.
Yeah.
I'll take the whole thing.
I got stuff.
And I know you
Do you think
start.
Glasnow was like, what? Like I get to negotiate a long-term deal right now? This is awesome.
Fire it up.
Best case in LA? This is best case scenario. Like imagine getting that news.
The Rays gave him that pillow contract for the second year coming off of
Yeah.
TJ, and now, hey, you're getting traded, but it's only if we get you the extension. Okay. What are we talking?
What are you offering?
Buck
me?
37? Okay.
Done. It's like fucking where do I sign?
I mean, knowing him and his personality and the way he handles things, he's just going to be like, yeah, this is easy.
Yeah, no, things worked out.
Yeah.
Just shredded.
Fucking Ken
Shredded
doll.
wheat. Jess, okay. Well, let's close off one thing before we get back to Jess and Glasnow, which is a recurring segment on this show. But you mentioned Molly to the Rangers. He's not going to be back till midseason, and Scherzer's not going to be back till midseason after his back surgery. So that's an interesting.
Why would you
little
ever,
dynamic.
speaking of the Ohtani thing we were talking about earlier, why would you ever have Scherzer pitch in April, May, or June?
Regular season's out?
Fool's errand.
Is that what we're doing now? We're done with the regular season? I don't want
Some
that.
teams-
Fucking,
case.
that's what the expanded wild card did. Diamondbacks won 70 games, and they're in the World Series. Who gives a shit? The whole thing is muddied up. But honestly, I'm putting on a overly grumpy for effect.
Yes.
It is.
Is that an Instagram filter?
It is. It is watered down. Like, yeah, why would you risk injuring a talent like that in the first half? Like, we're going to see so many more baby steps, especially if you are good enough or in a division open enough. You know, the AL East can't do it because that's a really tight, not the AL East, the NL East is what I meant to say. That's the tightest one with Phillies and Braves. But
AL West too, I think you could
Miami
say.
made the playoffs last year, another 84 win team.
I know. So, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's like basketball necessarily just yet where those teams really don't care. I mean, they had to put an in-season tournament for people to tune into the regular season for basketball because they just, I think, 16 teams make the playoffs, right? Half the teams?
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Baseball is double the amount of
getting
games, you know?
So, yeah, I mean, look, I don't think we're at that level yet, but I agree there's some guys where you can make that case like, fuck it. Like, we don't need you yet, bro.
Yeah.
I think that's few cases, but
It's very few
see
teams.
that.
Like the Yankees
I
can't
could see
do it
that.
because they need to win every game. They need to, you know.
Rangers just won some.
But for guys like Scherzer, Ohtani, I don't know, injury risk starting pitchers mostly. It seems like we're going to get to a point. If you're on the Dodgers, you're guaranteed to make the playoffs. I don't know.
I don't know if this is point or counterpoint to you, but the Braves, they all played every single fucking game.
Oldest
But
coaching
in the
staff in
end,
baseball.
it didn't matter
Right.
because they lost in the playoffs. Maybe if they would have kept them fresh a little bit more.
I love when you quote Lincoln Park.
Final segment of the show, Jess and Glasnow.
R.I.P. Chester.
She met him for the first time at the wedding. And, they had a nice time together. Glasnow posted his like his thank you Instagram to Tampa, and Jess replied and was like, really proud of you. And I was like, okay, Jess.
She said, really proud of you?
I'll bring it up because I was slightly taken aback. Like, it was nice.
Proud of him for what, though?
That's
what
an
we
odd-
get
That's
behind.
the word proud threw me off.
That's
like, you
like-
can be happy.
That's a really weird...
Let's see.
Because it's almost
trying to-
like you have, those auto-populated responses that they offer you sometimes on things. It's almost like she
LinkedIn.
selected one, but they would never offer really proud of you.
She said, this is her reply. So proud, exclamation point, exclamation point. And then she said, Tampa will miss you, but hello, LA. So I don't
yeah.
she's jazzed up about it. So
I agree with all of that.
I'm happy.
She knows.
And Glasnow liked it. So I mean,
She knows all the stuff.
So she.
Now check the DMs.
Yeah.
Tampa
You
will,
might need to go through that
Is
phone.
it just
Tampa will miss
pictures?
him.
I mean, she is also kind of from Tampa, so there's a little angle from there. But yeah, I don't know. Chasing
So
ass.
proud.
He's also an extremely handsome man.
So proud.
He's like
just
almost
really
the
cut
exact
up.
opposite of you.
He's
no
just
offense.
he's just beautiful, like man, woman, whatever
I'm
it
just
is.
Ken.
He's a good dude. You're not.
Yeah.
He's super tall. You're not.
Start over.
He's super ripped. You're
Start
not.
over. Hit the music.
He's got a lot of
Sounded like
money.
you
All
might
right,
have
we're out. Subscribe. Jake, you're a good guy.
Hey,
Yeah,
I'm
you
a
guys
good
are
guy.
both good guys.
Good guy.
You like
That's about
laugh.
Ew, that's who.
He liked to laugh. Jake sucks.
sucks.
Shit.
The changeup was filthy.
Filth.
Curveball, not so much. Loopy.
Bop.